Well, over the last several months, many of our churches have been online for services. We've been trying to figure out how to engage people in worship, engage people in community, engage people in general, all online. And so we've given out a lot of tips over the last several months on how to do that, and a lot of short Instagram moments and things like that. But today I want to put all of those together in one place because listen, regardless of the coronavirus, regardless of anything going on in the world that requires you to be online, we can use these things that we've picked up over the last several months to enhance our ministries going forward. So today I want to give you 9 ways to engage your church online. Some of these you're probably doing or you've probably seen done. Some might be brand new, but let's go through them and maybe you can find one to try out this week. First, this is a fun one. Host an online worship night. It's not a hard thing to do. Sometimes we overthink it, but you can do this the same way that you stream your Sunday service. And you and a worship team, or even you just an acoustic guitar, or you and a keyboard, just lead worship for an hour. Lead worship for 30 minutes. Invite people to put prayer requests in the chat and just worship and pray with people. That can all be done online. People can worship. They can tune in from their homes, and that's a great way to give someone just an opportunity to worship and an opportunity to ask for prayer. Another way that I've seen to be pretty effective with engaging people is to create some playlists, whether that's on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you use. Create some playlists with songs in them that you are using right now, that you want to introduce in the future, songs that you're singing over your church, some things that you're praying over your church. And listen, that's going to benefit you in a lot of ways. One, it's going to give people something to worship with, but it's also going to allow you to introduce songs to your church before you introduce them on a Sunday morning, and that's a great thing to do. Another thing that I know you've seen a lot of, you saw a lot of this before you were online, but post clips from Sunday morning, post clips of the sermon, post clips of worship, post clips of anything and everything you can, and engage people that way. Don't just let them hear a message on Sunday. Man, how about on Wednesday or on Thursday, recap that message. Say, hey, remember this was the main takeaway from the message. Or let's take a point from your pastor's sermon and just post a clip of him saying it just as a reminder, because things wear off during the week. We know that. So post some clips from Sunday. A fun thing that I've been doing lately that you can do with your church is interview somebody. Interview, maybe a volunteer, maybe it's a worship leader on your team. Interview a pastor on your staff. You can do this on Instagram Live. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it all over the place, and just talk a little bit about church, about how you're doing in this time. Encourage the church a little bit and just chat. People like hearing from you. They like hearing from your pastor. They like hearing from other volunteers. So let them hear from you. Interview somebody. Hang out, chat a little bit, and hopefully you can do that in a way where there's a chat too, and you can connect with people a little bit. Another pretty fun thing to do, record some cover songs. I've done this a couple of times lately. Mine have turned out pretty poorly, so I won't send them to you or anything like that. But record some covers, put them on your Instagram page, on your YouTube, on your Facebook page, and let people engage in worship that way. It's gonna be fun for you. It's gonna make you a better worship leader and a better musician, but it's also gonna be a great way to engage people in worship. Do some old songs, do some hymns, do some new songs, do some songs off that playlist you created. It can be a really, really fun way to engage people. Similarly to the interviews you just talked about, do some Instagram Live conversations. Pick a topic and talk about it. Maybe it's anxiety during this time. Talk about that with somebody on Instagram Live. Maybe it's how can you worship at home, and talk about worship a little bit, and just engage your church that way. Talk about an interesting topic. Find something that people are interested in hearing about, and chat about it. Very similarly to that, host an online small group. Use Zoom or Teams or Facebook Messenger or whatever, and hang out with people online. Go through a book of the Bible. Go through John or Matthew or the Psalms or whatever, and just invite people to join you. Say, hey, we're gonna study the Bible together. It's always good to get people, studying Scripture. Really easy thing you could do. This is idea number 7, I believe we're on. No, idea number 8. Suggest books and music to people. What are you listening to? What are you reading through right now? What is capturing your attention right now? Because that's going to capture the attention of other people. And, create a list, put it on your website or put it on your social medias, and, just give people a list of resources to be looking at right now. And lastly, share what other churches are doing. Share what other people are doing. If you see, maybe you can't host a worship night, but you know that a church is, share about that. Maybe you don't have time to interview somebody, but the church across town interviewed a really great worship leader, or a really great well-known pastor, or something like that. Great. Share that with your people. That's okay to do. It's a good thing to do. That's how the kingdom of God operates. And so, listen, there's so many more ways, and I'd love to know how you're engaging, with your church right now. If you want to leave a comment or send us a message, and we'll let other people know about that too. But definitely search for ways to engage people. Search for ways to create opportunities to worship, and that is going to be great. During times where you can't be with someone in person, man, it's so important that we as leaders in the church are searching for ways to engage with people, searching for ways to reach out to people. It's more important than ever to be able to reach out to people and find out how they're doing. It's effective to pastor people on stage, but it's more effective to pick up a phone and see how they're doing. It's more effective to say, hey, we can't be together, but here's all these ways that I can still serve you. So let's look for ways to serve our churches. So if you need anything as you do this, leave a comment, send me a message. I would love to help. I love getting to connect with worship leaders.